everyone, and welcome back to Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. Today we're going to focus on something different, international adoption. So while Adoptions from the Heart does not do international adoption anymore, we actually still provide the service of writing international home studies. We're going to focus in on Gladys and Peter, who are from Cameroon and were looking to adopt their niece. They had the pleasure of working with Danielle Goodman, one of our social workers here at the agency, and she's going to help explain what their process and journey towards bringing home their niece is going to look like.
Thank you, Gladys and Peter, for taking the time out this morning to come talk about your experience with your adoption story. Just for our audience members to realize that Adoptions from the Heart no longer does international adoptions. We have stopped doing international adoptions since I want to say 2008, 2009. But we still do work with families who are looking to do an international adoption, and we provide home study services. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
Actually, when my younger sister passed away in 2018, she is unmarried. And she had one child, a girl.
Right.
Actually, she wasn't married, and I was sponsoring that child when since she was born.
Okay.
In 2018, she passed away. Not to go too further, but when I went home in 2018 for my sister's burial, I already started the process in 2013, actually.
Okay.
The process of adopting her to bring her here because my sister was unable to support her. So I said, okay, I don't have a child. Let me adopt my sister's child to bring to me in America. So it happens that I did not go home again until 2018 when she passed. That was when I fastened the process of adopting her.
Mm-hmm.
So when the magistrate saw all the papers that I was doing, it was fast enough to sign off the adoption to me.
But so everything was done in Cameroon
in
for the adoption.
2018, yes.
Were you expecting though in 2018 to just be able to bring her back home, or did you know there was a process?
When I actually got the final adoption papers from back home, I thought I would just come here, fill out the application, and just will mail it in. Then they would just send her to the embassy to come. I didn't know there was a process.
Okay.
So I mailed the application in and actually filled out the application online, sent it in, and then after a while I keep calling.
And this was you sending the application into immigration?
Right.
Correct. Right?
Yes. We learned about one lady from our country that went through the process and brought her younger sister 3 kids.
Here's the
She
process.
is the one that actually told my husband that this is the process that I went through. So I find out from her if it costs a lot of money. She said, with me, I didn't see it like a cost, but maybe to you it might be a cost. She said, Google
international adoption.
So we did Google that, then we got this place in Colorado. They were the one that referred us to you guys here.
Okay. So it was quite the experience, quite the roller coaster ride for you guys, right?
Yes.
Because you just thought everything was going to be fine. Apply to immigration, she'll get her visa.
She was just going to get her visa
and now we're
boom,
years
comes.
later at this point, and we are still waiting for your niece to come here, right?
Yes.
For those families that are out there that have maybe family members in international countries, or if anybody wants to adopt internationally, what would you say to them? What would be the first step that you would say do?
What the first step they're going to do is we're going to enlighten her through the process and then make her go through the international adoption procedure here.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Start in America
start in
first.
America. Because we had tried it before, going directly into the immigration, so that it could not work.
Doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work.
Yes.
When the sister gave us that idea that we could go to an adoption center, and then a lot of them popped up. But then I saw a family in Rome who came up this is the only center that does adoption in Nigeria and Cameroon. It does adopt international adoption.
Right.
So I had to pick up the number from there and call. Nobody would pick, but they always write me back. They send me a message. Finally, when they wrote to me, they said, okay, this is the process. We're ready to work with you guys. You want to work with us.
But you have to get a home study done.
Yes. We had to put in, before the home study, we put in an application.
Yeah, we'll put an application with them first.
Because they must accept your application, then send you to the home
Right.
study.
So an international home study does incorporate lots of different items, right? So you guys have to do an autobiography, it's criminal background checks for anywhere you've lived since the time that you were 18. You have to do medicals. It's additional paperwork that we have to do. And that we write a huge report. You have to take some training classes, right? International trainings that you have to take. And then the report is written for the most part, and then we come out and do that walkthrough through your house. So it is a process, right? And it's not super quick. It can take anywhere from 2 to 4 months depending on the process and depending on how long it takes to get clearances and some of the paperwork done. So it's not super quick. It's not just a walkthrough of your house. It encompasses a couple different meetings with you guys, right? And it's a get to know you. So hopefully, that kind of helps people understand like what the process looks like for an international adoption. It is a little bit more encompassing than a domestic adoption, for sure. A little bit more intense. So for anybody listening, if they're trying to adopt their family member from that country, what they should do is look through Google and find out an agency that maybe would be willing to work with them. That is HEG accredited. So that's the biggest point. They have to be HEG accredited and be able to willing to work with you as well as work with whatever agency is doing your home study. So that's the biggest part. And it is not for the faint of heart, right? There is definitely fees associated for every part of the process for you, just in normal, adoptions. But it's also timing, right? The time you guys had expected to have her here home prior to school starting this year, right? That was your goal, your hope, And the other big thing for your niece is she just turned 16, right? So she had turned 16 in February. And in a lot of international countries, we have to get the paperwork submitted prior to 16 is normally that cutoff with a lot of countries. Is like they cannot be adopted after the time that they're 16. So that's why it's really important to get that paperwork in, which we did.
Yes.
But we're still waiting at this point for the immigration to approve you guys.
Right.
Yeah. Any other food for thoughts, suggestions, tips?
I have a suggestion linking to the immigration process. I don't know. The immigration process should be a little bit overhauled again. Because
That would be great.
Yeah, because now I'm trying to adopt my wife's niece. One of the documents that immigration is going to ask you, oh no, you have to leave America, go and stay with the child in Cameroon for 2 years. Okay, I'm here in America working.
Right.
What should I do? Should I take off work for 2 years, go stay in America, stay in Cameroon with the child to get that paper that I stayed with her for 2 years? So that is the process immigration has to. And then secondly, there's a lot of reluctancy in document processing and then information communication too. Not keeping like a parent adopting, like you don't know which stage are you now, you don't know. And then all of a sudden you see a document comes 1 month after, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. So
But I think the biggest thing too is you had started this process in 2018.
yeah.
Had you known in 2018 or even early 2019 that you had to go through an international adoption agency here and get a home study here, we would be a couple of years sooner, right?
Yeah.
Had you known that information. So I think, yes, we're not going to change immigration. We're not going to change the slowing part of the process of like processing paperwork necessarily. But for families to know that there is a process that they have to start here in America first before they adopt from Cameroon or Jamaica or Nigeria or wherever that family member that they're looking to adopt is located at. They have to start this process here, right?
I think my proposal is if they can make this idea go viral for everybody to know about it, educate people about it, that would be perfect.
Yes, it would. Adoption is not for the faint of heart. You are doing this because you want to better the life for your niece, who's in not a good situation right now in Cameroon. But you have to kind of jump through these hoops to make that happen. Well, and hopefully, now that we've gotten everything processed,
Yes.
we'll get her here as quickly as we can. Thank you guys so much for taking the time and coming and talking to us and hopefully sharing your story a little bit will help other families who are trying to adopt internationally kind of understand the process.
Thank you so much to Gladys and Peter for sharing your experience with adoption. We are all hopeful that you're going to be able to bring your niece home very soon, and we are also hopeful that our audience members can better understand what the process looks like with international home studies. Thanks so much, guys.